Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you are in the world. Welcome to the Happiness Hacking TV show and podcast, a place to inform and inspire you to live a happier, more abundant life. I'm Patricia, international best-selling author, NLP master and trainer and integration therapist. But more importantly, I'm mum to 3 full-power children who span the toddler to teen age bracket, and they teach me and they inspire me and they guide me to be the best version of me that I can possibly be. And each week I'll be bringing you a brand new episode, tying in extracts from my best-selling book, The Happiness Hacker Reveals, bringing you shows full of inspiration as well as inspiring interviews from experts in their fields, all designed to support us on our mission to stay connected, present and happy in this hectic world. And if you've not yet ordered a copy of the Happiness Hacker Reveals, then please do go and grab one so that you can access all of the amazing trainings and bonuses that I've created to help you have a happier and more successful life. You can find out more over at www.transformation.tv. And remember to bounce on over to the Transformation TV Facebook page and like that so that you can stay up to date with all of our inspiring news and TV shows. Welcome to episode 3, 7 steps to relieve anxiety and 1 way to cure it for good. So yeah, anxiety, it can rule our lives. I get many clients who have been suffering from anxiety, from severe panic attacks, to feelings of nervous unease and worry, feeling on edge, a sense of foreboding or dread, or just constantly irritable, difficulty in concentrating. All of these are symptoms that can hold us back and cause us to lose out on experiences and people. You know, we tend to withdraw from social occasions. Work might feel more and more difficult and stressful. You know, anxiety can feed into all areas of life, and we can develop amazing coping strategies to handle it. But we can also self-medicate so that we can numb out from the feelings of it. And there are physical symptoms to anxiety, as you probably know, from shortness of breath to heart palpitations, aches and pains, feeling sick in the tummy. There's also difficulty sleeping and staying asleep. You know, anxiety can breed into insomnia. It can be triggered at any moment, you know, and it can take over your life. The young and the old can suffer from anxiety. Indeed, we're seeing more and more young children and teens suffering from severe anxiety on a daily basis. You know, life is very unpredictable, and how each child handles their journey, well, that's unique to them. And there are certain risk factors that can impact heavily on a child's mental and emotional health, you know, such as long-standing educational difficulties, or being bullied, or physical, emotional, or even sexual abuse, poverty, living in poverty, or becoming homeless, parents separating, bereavement. All of these things impact heavily, and as a child with no way to process that stuff, we just simply carry it into our adult lives, and that plays a massive part in our self-esteem, self-worth, what we believe we can do or can't do, how we feel, the choices that we make day to day. It plays a massive part in how we are feeling. So today I'd like to introduce to you that the idea of that any sensation or signal or feeling or thought even in our bodies or our minds could hold really valuable information for you. Yeah, so those feelings of anxiety and fear and aches and pains and exhaustion that we're feeling day to day, they're all trying to get our attention, and they'll continue to bug us with ever increasing ferocity and urgency until we listen and act on what they want us to do. Now, ultimately, they want to keep us safe. They want to protect us. But all we do is ignore these massive feelings, or we try to numb out from them. And in doing so, that eventually leads us into trouble. Because when we ignore these signals, we ignore the dis-ease that builds up in our bodies and in our minds. And when we push through, and when we have that make do and park it attitude so that we can crack on with our lives, and most of the time we have to, we have to keep that money coming in, and we have to keep the roof over our heads, or indeed we crack on to keep people happy and off our backs. But when we do that, in my experience, this leads us down a road of ill health, mental and emotional instability. And we end up having to, eventually, we end up having to take time off work because we start getting ill, or we stay in relationships that are not nourishing for us, or kind or beneficial for us. Or we end up making really dramatic, impulsive decisions. Or we end up making decisions by default, by like not making a decision at all. Yeah, we end up just simply self-medicating. Because for the majority of us, we're just not taught how to listen to ourselves and our bodies. We've not been taught that we have all of our answers, and that all we need to do is ask the right questions of ourselves and then trust in our answers enough to action what those parts are trying to ask us to do. Because as we practice the art of real communication, and that's communication with ourselves, we start to view those signals, those feelings of anxiety and overwhelm and worry, those palpitations, that feeling of sickness, those reoccurring thoughts. When we start to view those things as messengers, messengers coming to our house and knocking on our door with important information for us, our life starts to change. We need to open the door and say, yes, what is it that you want to say? What are you trying to tell me? Because, when someone comes knocking at our door and it's really, really ferocious, and they're knocking and knocking and knocking, say it's worry, starts off as worry as a child. We've got worry about going to school. And as that progresses, that worry becomes a feeling of dread and foreboding, and that feeling then grows a lot more as we grow into our adult selves, and it becomes anxiousness and deep worry and overwhelm. Yeah, all these years we choose to sit in fear and ignore the knocking. Well, we're not even choosing it. We don't know that we can open the door and say hello to the messenger. Because if we don't open the door and say hello to that messenger, the messenger will keep pounding away with increasing force. It will just get louder and more scarier. Yeah, so the anxiousness gets more and more overwhelming and more encompassing. And then it gets to the point, like on a emotional, mental or physical level, that we're forced to take notice of it. We have some kind of breakdown. I like to view it as a breakthrough, but we get some kind of illness, or we lose our job or our partners, or there's some repercussions of not sitting and listening to what we need. And we've all done that, haven't we? We've all said, after the fact, kicked ourselves and said, I knew it. I ought to have listened to myself, or I ought to have moved out years ago. We've all done that. So what I'm offering here, I suppose, is that opportunity to learn to say hello to those signals early on, without fear and without trepidation, and asking them, like literally asking them, what do they want? What are they trying to tell you? What message do they have for you? Because it's a surefire way of working through these powerful emotions, these thoughts, these physical manifestations quickly and easily. Because all of our fears and anxieties once stemmed from something real. And it was a natural response to that situation that we feared. Yeah. When you're a child and you don't want to go to school and you have that upset tummy, is it an upset tummy? Is it really an upset tummy? Or are you scared about something that's happening in school? it stems from something real? Or is it the anxiety of strangers coming into the house, or going to new places, or starting school for the first time? It all starts somewhere. And because those things weren't resolved or given the space and the time and the energy for you to process that, it builds up and then it's triggered as an adult. Yeah. And those times when it's triggered, it's from like a familiar situation that happened way back when. Or it might very well be absolute truth and trying to tell you an important message, like you really need to change your job. This job is destroying you. You know, you're anxious about going to work every day. Listen to me, you're anxious about it. It might be a real reason. But you need to know one or the other, if it's stuff from your past playing out time and time again, or if it's actual information that serves you in the moment about your current life situation. You need to make the differentiation, and the only way to find that out is to ask. Yeah, so facing your fears, facing your anxiety, or that detrimental feeling or pain signals in your body, or illness. Yeah, facing that, and by asking the questions and listening and then acting on the guidance that they offer, that will definitely cut the crap and those long drawn out patterns of behavior that no longer serve you, and it will keep you on track with your life, you know, your happy and healthy, abundant life. So the next little happiness hack is something that I practice myself all the time, and especially with my children. Yeah, it's something that I use and I teach the parents that I work with and the young people that I work with. And it's worked for my kids, at least, you know, to understand themselves, their bodies, their emotions. It helps grow emotional intelligence. It helps them become more empathic to others and understand that we are not wrong to have these huge emotions. Yeah, these are natural emotions given the life situation, but they're natural emotions in the moment of that life situation, and they're not designed to be held on to for your entire life. They're designed to work through, dissipate and let go. But we've never been taught that. You and I, my children are lucky. Yeah, I've imparted all of this gift, and I'm on a mission to help parents and children understand this so that they don't have to carry this stuff with them into adult life. Yeah, learning this little 7 steps now will help you, and it will help your kids create that mind-body connection. And it's a pretty priceless life skill. So step 1 is to believe that the negative thoughts or negative emotion has a positive intention and is a part of you. It's a younger self, it's a part of you. And it's more often than not trying to keep you safe and protect you. So that little tummy ache my daughter had the other day, you know, wasn't a tummy ache. She wasn't feeling sick. She was anxious about doing PE in school. She's just started kindergarten reception here in the UK, you know, and she was worried about, she's only 4, getting all her stuff ready and things like that. That's where we got to. But if I'd have just bought into the upset tummy and ignored that and went, well, you're going to school anyway and I've got to go to work and let's just ignore that, that would have frozen in her and played out again and again and again. But because we got to the root of it, we could then put some stuff in place. So she was worried about getting changed for PE, so we could talk to the teacher. And so she got a help with it and support with it. But number 1 is believe that the negative thought or emotion has a positive intention and is part of you. Number 2, where are you feeling this in your head or your body? Where are you feeling the feelings or having those recurring thoughts? So tuning in and locating it in time and space. So I'm feeling it in my solar plexus. I'm feeling it in my tummy. I feel it in my hands. I feel it in my legs have gone jelly. Whatever it is for you, it's going to be unique to you. What kind of feeling? Number 3 is, what kind of feeling is that feeling? All my legs have gone leadened, or I've got this hotness that's radiating from my chest, or I feel really sick, or there's a knot in my tummy. So locating it, getting really specific. Number 4, say hello to it. Take the time. Hello, thank you for signalling to me. Give it the respect it deserves. It's got valuable information for you. It's trying to protect you. It's a part of you. And ask, do you have a message? What are you trying to tell me? What is it that you want? And then just create the space for that to bubble up. It will bubble up. The answer to that question will bubble up. You might not want to hear it. Yeah, it might not be something that you can action right now. Number 6, you can ask, and is there anything else? And is there anything else? And you keep asking that till all the information comes out. So those that love to journal, you know that I do, you can write these questions down, and you can, is there anything else? And you can write out all your answers. What needs to happen for all of that to happen? Can that happen? It might be something that you can't action right now. Number 7 is thank it. Thank it for all of that information. Because, you know, if that emotion wants you to do something that you can't action, ask yourself, when can that happen? It might be going to the dentist. It might be taking time off. You're working too hard. If that can't happen till Saturday, let that part know that it can happen, and it can happen on Saturday. It just can't happen right away. But in the meantime, I'll make sure that I switch off, and I have that bath, and I feed myself well, and I put myself to bed and nourish myself a little bit more. You keep communicating with that part and negotiating until the part is fully satisfied. But you will find that once it's seen, and once it's heard, and once it's been listened to and respected, it settles down. So just play with it. Yeah, so number 1, believe that the negative thought or emotion has a positive intention for you and is a part of you. Number 2, where are you feeling that in and around your body? Yeah, and what kind? Number 3, what kind of feeling is that feeling? Number 4, say hello and thank it. And number 5, do you have a message for me? What are you trying to tell me? And is there anything else? Number 6, uncover that information. It could be just that. It could be just one line. It could be a lot. And 7, thank it. And then think to yourself, can that happen? And if it can't, when can it happen? Let that part know. So just play with this. Play with it for yourself, play with it with your significant other, play with your children about this, because it's amazing how it can open up a conversation about what the real reasons are behind the upset tummies, the headaches, the feeling sick, the worry, the anxiety, the real reasons that are wrapped up in that. Because not only does it help a child name their feelings, it builds the emotional intelligence, and it will help you navigate those feelings. It will help you come to the solutions, yeah, that will make you feel more balanced, safe, calm. It's a useful skill to have, and it's easy to do. It's really easy to do. But remember, ultimately, anxiety, overwhelm, worry, fear, yeah, irritability, it's all a signal. It's all a part of you being triggered. A part of you who is quite literally a part from you. So all of these signals that you feel in and around your body, the emotions, aches and pains, the thoughts, are shouts, are signals, are signs from younger selves that are trapped within the feeling when it was first felt. And in fact, it's probably several younger selves stuck back in time playing out the fear and the worry and the upset that they first felt. Now, integration therapy is an opportunity to go back and find all those lost younger selves, releasing them from that fear and separation, reintegrating with them, bringing them back, maturing them up to the here and now, to this day, this time zone, to the here and now. And by doing that, that dissolves the feelings of anxiety or fear or pain or overwhelm for good. Yeah. This is how you cure those feelings and that kind of behavior that stems from that once and for all. You have to go back and you have to find all of those fragmented parts, all of those dissociated selves that stepped away from you as you were growing up. And they were dissociated and fragmented off through some kind of trauma, through some kind of fear, through some kind of worry. Yeah, they hid and stayed in and were trying to protect themselves. And that's the part that gets triggered under those kind of situations where your anxiety plays out, social occasions, or relationships, or jobs, or money, or not knowing what's around the corner. To cure it, you simply have to find those lost younger selves. And when you have, those lost younger selves aren't there to be triggered within you. They are you. You are a whole person and coming to life from a whole adult place. Not all these little tiny parts that are lost in fear and desperation and anxiety and worry. Those are the little parts that are being triggered and playing out the coping strategies that protected them at that time. So headaches, feelings of sickness, all of those things. We need to find them and bring them back on board. So if you'd like to find out how you can have a personal session with me, then just get in touch. So you can find out, there's a free discovery call. So just press the link below and we can book you in for a free chat around it all. And you'll find out how many parts are in play, keeping the life experience of anxiety in play. And when we find all of those parts and we release them, dissolving that structure and bringing you back to wholeness, you are coming to life from a place of creation, not a place of reaction. So yeah, if you want a discovery call, then press the link below. In the meantime, practice those 7 steps. Yeah, because those 7 steps will relieve the feelings of anxiety and take you to the reason why you're feeling anxious. And it will take you to the steps that you need to do in order to help resolve it. And it will help relieve you from anxiety. So that's it for this week. Thank you ever so much for joining me, and I'll see you next week for another episode of Happiness Hacking with me, Patricia Madalena. And in the meantime, remember to be present, be kind, and be real. So thank you very much, and I'll see you next week.